everyone, Ronan back. Today we're going to be diving into some Maximum the Hormone. We did one of their songs, Alien, maybe a couple weeks ago, and I've been meaning to get back to this band because they are not really like any other band I've heard before. I feel like on the surface level, their approach seems to be very sporadic and just kind of out of nowhere. But then when you look at it in hindsight, you can then kind of maybe get the beginning of a glimpse of like where they were coming from with something. And it's like, oh, okay. So like at least from a musical perspective, that's where they were coming from with it. And the way they were able to tie everything together is just like really, really brilliant, actually. They're just one of those bands where you really have to give them a shot if you're not used to what they're playing and you're more used to maybe more commercialized music or something like that. You need to approach with an open mind and you may find something you like. So and I enjoyed Alien. I really did. There's certain parts of that song that are just so good, so sick. The bass parts, and then just showing off that they can actually play something that you can hear on the radio, that you can hear on TV even, that's like TV friendly and all this stuff. And it's just shows the amount of range that they actually have as a band. So it's really cool. I think they're going to be really interesting for me to dive into, in that, you know, usually when you listen to a song or two, you're like, okay, this is about where the band takes you. And with this band, I have no idea where the hell they're going to take me. So I'm just going to let them take me. That's basically the gist of it. So I'm just going to get this started. I feel like I'm being lied to right now. Sounds nice and peaceful. I feel like I'm gonna get like roundhouse kick to the face.
1100g の針は同じ位置、同じ位置、同じ位置。見た目で決めつける奴ら、その重さも分からずたやすく軽く見下し、何周回ってそこにたどり着いたかを想像することもできぬまま、ずっと裏の裏は表だと信じきっている普通や一般といだの異常な正常者、そんなまともな人々の将棋の沙汰に痛めつけられた結果はこれである。今もまだLet's go get motherfucker. Keep our mother at you. So it's so up we go. Alongside the word of the children of us, measuring up a box, marking your loss. Struck and flash.
Sick.
Can't pass the last or last one, let's go. Rip boy, keep boy, sky boy. Step boy, can't charge anymore. So let's go the road, so let's go the kid. You're the way to just son of your show.
Just want to make sure to do a little pause here. Copyright gods. I really love the vocal textures that the actually really both vocalists have. They both have a very different style from one another, but still within the same vein of other bands where one person goes hard and the other one maybe a little softer, because I feel like both of them can go hard if they wanted to, but one particularly has like that gnarly growl, and just I love that the Japanese language is allowing for certain rhythms in just the words that they can enunciate, what it allows them to do in their own language. Whenever he's just going off with the vocals, the guitar tone is actually really nasty. A great example of how you can use, because I think he's using a PRS, right? So great example of how you can use something like that to your advantage. It's just very in the mix. You can tell its frequency is kind of a bit on the lower side of it, so it's not something that's trying to jump out at you, but they're using that to their total advantage, and they're taking advantage of that low end in it, and they got that nice kind of, it's got some saturation, but it's kind of a little bit of that fatness at the same time. Everybody in the pocket together is just like, it's really good. You know, there's a lot of well thought out things in here, and that's what I feel like I like about them, is that I feel like they're kind of chameleons in a way, in that, you know, because music like this to me reminds me of like really grungy music back in the day, where it really was kind of like a simple thing. It was just more of an attitude than anything. But here, it's not just an attitude, but there's a lot of complexity to it. So if you really listen for these little things happening in the song, it's actually quite complex, and that's probably what really makes them stand out amongst other bands that could have a similar sound like this. But they just kind of take it and add so much depth to it, whether it be on a concept level or on a musical level, or song structure wise, and even tonally, they really have that dialed in really well. Oh my god. That was nasty. If there was anything predictable about that, is that the beginning was bait. It was, I was like, I don't believe you for a second that we're going to just continue on this path of this like nice, sweet little calm thing. And even if it got escalated to a different level, other bands would have had something maybe more sonically relevant to what was just then being played. But I was like, no, this band isn't going to do that. They're going to do something very different. They're going to hit me in the face with, you know, a pan while they're still cooking shit on it. They're going to hit me in the face with it. It's interesting now to hear at least a couple different songs and kind of see what the song structure is kind of like. And while it's still a little unpredictable, they seem to at some point like to inject one little moment of like, here's the songs that you might be used to like elsewhere, but everything else is us. Like this is, it's almost like the timing in itself is really what their signature sound is the fact that they may change on a dime and switch it up to something else. That's where they come from. And honestly, I really love the vocal tones from both vocalists. They just, again, it's all about that attitude, and they bring a lot of that into it with just, it's almost like they're, on some level, it feels like they're voice acting, and like it's literally a performance piece. We're not just trying to sing the right notes. It's that we're trying to get the right vocal textures, and I feel like they're literally trying to act out a piece to me, not just say lines to me, but actually communicate those lines in a particular way that I can, understand, see eye to eye to them, and at least understand the emotional impact with the delivery of the lyrics. So that's kind of how it makes me feel. And so that's probably another part of what makes them more unique, is that it's more than just singing some notes to you. They may, on the outside, on just a visual level, they may like parade around like, oh, we're just like this grungy band, and you may or may not dig it, or whatever. But if you sit there and actually just sit there and observe them and listen to them, like there is so much there that maybe some people may not give them the opportunity to even see, which actually makes me kind of grateful that they've had the level of success that they've had, because if the amount of views that they're getting on these things on YouTube is any reflection of that, then they seem to have done extremely well for themselves, and that's really awesome. And I'm glad people just approached it not in a shallow way, and we're actually like listening to them and see what they had to say. They're really actually quite an amazing band. Very different, compared to all the other bands I'm listening to right now. They're kind of like off over here. There are a couple other bands that maybe kind of slightly approach where they're at, but they're still kind of over here by themselves, and they're their own thing. You hear them and you're like, yeah, that's Maximum the Hormone. That's them. And so it's really cool when you have a band that has its own unique voice, and everyone seems to understand what the general goal is and what the vision is, and is able to communicate that through their music. So anyway, that's it from me, guys. I hope you enjoyed the reaction. I enjoyed the song. Let me know what you want to see next. I'll see you next time.